After one of the most long-awaited driver announcements in recent Formula One seasons, we now know that Carlos Sainz will be driving for Williams in 2025 and 2026. He will be joining the team alongside Alex Albon, and I think that this could be one of the best driver pairings on the grid. After the shock announcement that Lewis Hamilton would be leaving Mercedes at the end of 2024 to join Ferrari, the second shock came along, and that was that it was at the cost of Carlos Sainz's Ferrari seat. There was a lot of speculation of where the Spanish driver would end up for 2025 and beyond. Probably the most talked about rumour and the one that made the most sense to a lot of people was going to Audi. Of course, his father, Carlos Sainz Sr., has ties with the German team, another team that people were certain that Carlos Sainz would be joining, and that was Mercedes. It seemed fitting for Carlos to take Lewis's seat, as Lewis was taking Carlos's at Ferrari, and it was Carlos's best opportunity to get into a top team again. However, I think Williams is definitely the best decision he could have made and the best place for him to go. Here we are. Williams' Formula One team has such a rich history in the sport. 9 Constructors' Championships. They are one of the most successful teams in the history of the sport. Obviously, in recent years or decades, that hasn't really been the case, but they have that legacy. With the addition of Alex Albon and, of course, a lot of changes internally to the team and appointing James Vowles as their team principal, we've already seen some really incredible improvements. If you look back to how they were in 2020, 2021 to how they are now, there's a pretty big difference. You may not see it now in the championship standings, but it is definitely happening, and there is momentum, and it's only going to get better from here, I think. As for Williams, this is a huge pivotal moment for the team, I believe. They now have 2 experienced and mature drivers joining their team to help further develop the car and, of course, score more points to help them in the constructors battle. It has been a long time coming for the team to get back to where they were and to stop being known more so as the junior development team for Mercedes and get back into being a Formula One team in their own right, and I think with these 2 drivers together, they are on the right trajectory for that. Hopefully. Alex has been the top driver throughout his last 3 years at Williams, his teammates including Nicholas Latifi and Logan Sargent. I've seen a lot of talk that this pairing is going to test how good Alex really is, and there's going to be an internal battle to see who will be the #1 driver and who is better. I personally don't think that's going to be the case. Carlos has been in multiple teams throughout his Formula One career so far, from Toro Rosso, Renault, to McLaren, to Ferrari, and now of course to Williams. Throughout his time at all these teams, he's never really been one to be vocal about being a #1 or 2 driver, and he hasn't really seemed to care when being asked, at least from what I can remember. I think we're going to see more of a dynamic like at McLaren, where the sole focus is on the team and kind of being better together and working together to get the most points possible. Look at them now, they are on track to maybe win the title fight this year, which is crazy and another video in itself. But when a team isn't fighting for podiums and wins or even for top 10s, the focus really shouldn't be on individual drivers, it should be on the team and developing, just growing as a team in general, and that is what I think Carlos and Alex will do together at Williams. Alex Albon has had his own share of experience and of course brings valuable knowledge to Williams as well. He too started his Formula One journey at Toro Rosso before moving into Red Bull. Then he was dropped at the end of 2021 to make room for Sergio Perez, but in that year in 2021 he not only drove DTM alongside Liam Lawson, he also was on the sidelines of Red Bull in their garage throughout the entire season on the simulator, helping out where he could, and he would have learnt a lot and seen a lot during that time that is helping him with Williams now. Another win for Williams with signing Carlos is definitely his popularity and sponsorships. The team has been vocal throughout the years about their struggles with money and gaining sponsorships, and having someone like Carlos who is as popular as he is and bringing in a lot of his own sponsors is going to be such a massive help for the team. Lack of investment comes a lack of performance. We've been sitting around the bottom of the championship, which again results in less money. Having someone like Carlos join the team, first of all, will make merch sales absolutely skyrocket. There's a lot of Ferrari girlies that will be jumping ship to support Carlos at Williams, which I think is great. Not only that, it will also bring a lot of eyeballs to the team, which is huge. As much as we don't like to admit it, money makes the Formula One world go round. More popular drivers, more sponsors, more development towards the car, better performance, more money. It's a cycle that Williams hasn't really been a part of in the last few years. Having Carlos can help them in that area as well. James Vowles has said multiple times that their focus is laser pointed on the 2026 car and season. Williams will be keeping the Mercedes engine until at least 2030. I think this will give them a slight advantage because there will be a lot of other teams, along with all the other changes and updates to the car, will be changing their engine, which is a whole piece that they have to learn to work with and can take a lot of, I guess, practice runs to get right, whereas Williams has been using the Mercedes engine since 2014, so that is just one more area that they don't have to be as focused on, compared to a team like Alpine, who is changing from Renault engines to Mercedes engines. It may take them a little while to get that engine to work right in the car, amongst all the other changes. Again, having two experienced drivers leading into these changes, I think we could see Williams make that grand comeback. We know that 2026 is going to be a huge change, but we don't really know how, so anything's possible. When it comes down to performance within the team and individual, Alex in 2025 will be entering his 4th year at Williams, which that is insane because I feel like it was yesterday that I was watching him being dropped from Red Bull and then going into DTM, but anyway. So he will be confident in the car. He has also, like I said earlier, been the #1 driver throughout his entire time at Williams, so he will have a lot of confidence, and I think having a teammate like Carlos will be really good for him and will kind of give him not so much a kick up the butt, for lack of a better phrase, but will just give him that extra boost to push even more than he has been to try and better himself and the team. And Carlos is no stranger to joining a new team and starting fresh. He is one of the drivers that seems to be very adaptable to a new car. Like I said, throughout his journey from Toro Rosso now to joining Williams in that not even 10-year time span, he hasn't really had any major moments where his performance or his abilities have been questioned like other drivers have when they have switched teams. He has been up there with Charles Leclerc throughout this season and the last, being the only person other than Max Verstappen to win a race in 2023, 5 pole positions, 3 race wins. It's no easy feat, and it will definitely help. Going into the Williams, he already has those big milestones, so it's not like he's joining a new team, needs to get his first podium, needs to get his first points. He's done that. He's adaptable, I think. It'll take him a little bit going from something like a Ferrari to obviously a Mercedes-powered Williams, but I think it'll be quick. He will adapt. I'm so excited to see the dynamic between the two. It's going to be really exciting to see how they work together, how they push each other, and of course, the video content that we're going to get from these two, I think is going to be absolutely top tier. They're both so personable and funny, but reserved also in a way. I just think the banter is going to be, it's going to be so good. They're also the first appendix-less Formula One team, so there's that. To finish up, I do think Carlos and Alex are going to be quite evenly matched. Like I said earlier, I think having a driver like Carlos as a teammate for Alex is going to bring out the best in him, and a driver like Carlos going to the team. These two drivers are at what should be the peak of their careers. Alex is 27 and Carlos is 29 at the time that I'm filming this. I can't wait to see them as teammates. I think it's going to be so exciting, and my God, 2025, we are in for such a treat of a season. Even if the racing's not that exciting, it's more just the changes that have happened throughout this silly season or just throughout the season in general. We haven't had that in a few years, so I'm really excited.